Hey everyone, welcome to another spooky episode of A Crept from the 80s. It has been a while, but we're back. And this is another I guess Halloween themed episode, if you will. Sort of. It's one good thing about it is that it is about something 80s. Today we're going to talk about my love of A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, The Dream Master, which is my favorite Nightmare on Elm Street film. And it is celebrating 35 years this year. My goodness. Wow. I was sitting in a theater 35 years ago watching this film. But before we get on to Nightmare 4 stuff, I did want to show off a few things I got recently, movie-wise, but also to let everyone know that until October 20th, the Halloween sale is going on. So if you did want to get some of my films on Blu-ray, they're $20 each, shipped in the U.S., and also I have brought back the Saturday Morning Sleepover Volume 1 Halloween Edition. So this is 8 hours of nothing but 80s and early 90s television shows, cartoons, commercials, music videos, and weird oddities, all edited together, that I curated, and all Halloween themed. I do these every few months, and I've been doing them for 6-7 years now in my home, called Saturday Morning Sleepover. But I've offered volumes to fans, a very limited number. But the Halloween one is back out. This one in particular has no rewind, no fast forward, and no skipping. And you know, people aren't that into that. The other volumes do have that, because we got so many complaints about this one. But there was a reason behind it, and it was because when we do these events in my home, the Saturday Morning Sleepovers, there is no stopping. There's no fast forwarding. There's no cuts. And it's usually 10 hours of content that I curate for a bunch of people that come over, and we do it all day. You may get up to go to the bathroom. You may get up to go eat or something like that, or get food and bring it back to where you were. But the content just keeps going. And so I wanted to bring that spirit to the first volume. People didn't really like that, so we subsequently fixed that with the other volumes. But if you did want to get the Halloween volume, it's $20 each, and you can get it until October 20th. Also wanted to talk about the Low Budget Pictures Classics Volume 6, which is the Heather and Pugly quadrilogy. It's finally here. It's finally out. It was a limited run. We did, a very small offering of this one. This is all 4 of the Heather and Pugly films, starting in 2002 and going until 2006. But there's special features on here that nobody has ever seen. The original DVDs never had any special features other than like a commentary, I guess. So there is a 98-minute round table with me and some of the cast talking about all the Heather and Pugly films. There's raw footage of the never seen and never edited Heather and Pugly Christmas special from 2010 that we did. That's on here. And then there's behind the scenes raw footage from the making of the Heather and Pugly films that's put together, and that's about 35 minutes. I don't know, what is that? Let's see. That's 39 minutes. Ooh, 39 minutes. All lovingly remastered. They're all here. 12 Inches of Dangling Fury to Heather and Pugly Cock Block The Apocalypse. It is here. Now, the printed disc versions are sold out, but if you still want to get them from me, you can get the non-printed disc versions for a little cheaper. This was a $40 set, shipped. and I'm doing the non-printed for about $35. So there's that. If you wanted to still get a hold of it, it is still very limited, but yeah, Heather and Pugly, the quadrilogy, very, very highly requested films from my history, my catalog of films, movie making. Coming up for November, for the holiday season, we have 2 releases. There's going to be a Saturday Morning Sleepover Christmas edition set that is coming, and also Low Budget Pictures Volume 7, which is going to have The Blue Cheese Brothers, which is an Ernest fan film we did in 2008. It's going to have 'Twas the Funk Before Christmas, which is a Teen Ape and Bubbles short film. And then the 1994 Four Guys Named Mister that we shot as our parody of Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction. That very, very few people have seen. So that is going to be the holiday editions, and we'll be doing pre-orders for that in November. For a late November, early December release and ship. So we got that going on. So just get a hold of me at warlockhomevideo@gmail.com for more info. You can find me on Instagram at Warlock Home Video. You can find me on Facebook at Christopher J. Seaver or Warlock Home Video Network. Yeah, man, it's happening, man. It's all out there, bro. So these are some pickups from the last couple of months. These were pre-orders. All of these were pre-orders. All except one of them. One of them was not a pre-order. I'll start with that one. This was, they were doing a sale. Vinegar Syndrome was doing a sale, and I was able to pick this up. The 4K of The Beastmaster. Great, I'm a big fantasy fan. Loved this film growing up. I saw it so many times. This and Conan the Barbarian are, whew. But we got Mark Singer, bro. Mark Singer. I am excited to see how they clean this movie up. But I couldn't pass up the $14.99 for this Blu-ray, so I had to get that. It's 4K. And then I pre-ordered Sleepy Hollow 4K. I adore this film. I really do. Saw it in theaters. I still have my ticket stub. Me and my girlfriend at the time went to see this. Loved it. It's Tim Burton's Hammer film, as far as I'm concerned. But the physical media of this release has always been garbage. And so I was very skeptical about this release. What was it going to look like? Was it really finally going to be given the love that it deserves? And so there's a couple people that I follow on YouTube to sort of make my my 4K decisions, because they'll do true file grabs of a Blu-ray and a 4K, and they'll do it side by side, and they'll show you what the differences are. And that's sort of how I make my decision as far as upgrading a title or not. And this looked leagues above the terrible Blu-ray that was out. So I had to get it. So yes, I had to get that. One of my favorite films of all time, The Last Dragon. I don't do steelbooks. So if the only version that comes out is a steelbook, then that's how I got to get it. But this is the 4K version of The Last Dragon. I love this film. Always have. I've got the soundtrack on various medias. But yeah, I love this movie. And I can't wait to see in my theater room how the glow looks in 4K. I'm really excited to watch it. And then just recently, these were pre-ordered. I pre-ordered them day one, and they came in. So excited that Fox Disney, well, it's Disney 20th century. The fox is gone. But they put out Prey on physical media in a 4K. I love this film. It's so good. It's probably the second best Predator film. There's something that I like about all the Predator films other than Alien vs. Predator 1 and 2. But the others, A-okay. But this is top notch for sure. And it's got a shit ton of extras, which I'm excited about. I am an extras hound, so I love that stuff. So I got Prey in. And then I got the Scream Factory Night of the Demons and Night of the Demons 2. Now, I had the olive release of Night of the Demons 2. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same print or the same version used for this release. But it's got a ton of extras for Night of the Demons 2. And again, I'm an extras whore. I love this stuff. And I've already watched the extras, and they're great. Very insightful, very fun, very cool that they got some of the people that they got to talk to. And I'm excited to listen to the cast commentary, because I've already listened to the director's commentary on the olive release. So I got that. And Night of the Demons is one of my favorite films, so I had to get this. I did see the Blu-ray versus 4K video, and it's a night and day. They did such a beautiful job with the 4K on this release, as far as I'm concerned. I did put it in and watched some of it, and it looks the best it's ever looked. I mean, so good. And in addition to that, they ported over everything that they did with the original Blu-ray release, Scream Factory, but they also added new stuff. New stuff is added. So, a very worthy upgrade as far as I'm concerned. No question. So, those are my recent hauls, guys. So now let's talk a little bit about the 35th anniversary of Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master. And why it's my favorite of the Nightmare films. So, if you're a fan of me, if you know my history, you know that I did see Nightmare on Elm Street in theaters, thanks to my mom, in 1984 when I was 7 years old. And that sort of set me on a path to filmmaking. You know, my grandparents got a video camera. Getting that video camera for Christmas, thanks to my grandparents, well, it was our families, and then I accosted it and started making backyard movies. And all the backyard movies were always Freddy and Jason, or movie themed, that my neighborhood friends or my family, you know, my cousins and whatnot, and we would all make these silly movies. Anyway, so I did see Nightmare 1 in theaters, did not see 2, and did not see 3. 3, interestingly enough. 3 I saw as soon as it hit VHS. There was a family down the street that I was best friends with, the kids, the Sarahs, and I've talked about them before on this channel. But they were movie hounds, and I loved this family because they, you know, much like me, they would reserve things before anybody else could. And this was a house that loved horror as well. And so we watched Dream Warriors at the Sarah's house. And they had the cardboard cutout from the video store as well, which was great about Video Connection. They would, you know, if you were a fan of something, they encouraged it, and they gave you stuff, you know. And a lot of my stuff from back then was from Video Connection, because they gave it to me. They knew me, and I would shoot stuff in their store, and it was great. So the next time that I saw a Freddy movie in theaters was Part 4. In 1988, I was 11 years old. Went with some friends. Back then, it wasn't a big deal. I saw so many rated R movies in theaters. It wasn't a thing. My fucking mom or my great aunt or whoever it was would just drop us off, buy the tickets, and we'd go in. Sometimes they would come with me, you know. whatever it was. But so Nightmare 4 to me is my favorite because of how creative and visually nuts it is. And the Nightmare series has always been great as far as the visuals are concerned, and the tricks and what Freddy is doing in the dream world and all of that stuff. But 4, this was Rennie Harlin's big big thing. Show to the world that, hey, I'm here and I'm making a statement. And I think he did a great, what a statement is with Nightmare 4. I really like a lot of the characters. It's a holdover from 3. It continues the story, within the Nightmare films. 3, 4, and 5 are its own trilogy, much like the Tommy Jarvis trilogy and Friday the 13th. I like that when series do that. And this was fun. Never really liked Tuesday Night. As Kirsten, I always love Patricia Arquette, but beside that, I like how everybody sort of continued. I like the new people. You actually care about some of those new people. And I just found it endlessly creative and fun, and great kills. And this is really like, 3 and 4, but really 4. This is rock star Freddy. Freddy was everywhere. It really was starting with 3, but 4, it's a noticeable difference in the pop culture, in my growing up, in just the neighborhood, everything. Freddy was Freddy. This was Freddy. He was all over the TV, and I loved it, ate it up. And so it was a blast to see. And as far as I'm concerned, Kevin Yeager's Freddy makeup from 2 to 4, 2, 3, 4. Whew, it's superb. It's chef's kiss, really. It's great stuff. He looks awesome. And I want to get a bust of Part 4 Freddy. I have a Part 2 Freddy because I think he's the scariest looking. But 3 and 4, I think Yeager really perfected that Freddy look. And Freddy didn't really look like Freddy to me again until Freddy vs. Jason. But 5, he looks like an old man. 6, he looks terrible. They did a little of it with Freddy, fake Freddy in New Nightmare before he's like evil, demonic, stretched trench coat wearing Freddy. But I've always really loved Part 4 Freddy, his look, for sure. Great one-liners. And I love that he has a real, honest to goodness foe with Alice. It's great. And the end scene with those two in the church is so good. So good. Super cheesy, but man, so good. Great lines, great fighting, great visuals. Again, all the visuals in this movie are fucking great. They're just so on point. But yeah, it's nuts. I've got a lot of things, Nightmare 4, a lot of posters. Right back there on the wall is a Nightmare 4. I've got magazines, Fangorias, I've got, this is my VHS from childhood. Nightmare 4. I've always kept it. My wife got me both the vinyl soundtrack, and she got me the score on cassette, which I have not opened. I don't want to open it. I'm going to keep that nice and tight. And then my buddy, Anders, who has Nightmare gloves. Some of you Nightmare aficionados would know him. He's a really good dude. And he made me the Nightmare 4. he made one for me many, many years ago, and it was stolen. Somebody stole it from my house. Never found out who. And then, my wife knew this and always knew it was like a real bummer for me. So she secretly had Anders make a new one for me. And it's awesome. As far as I'm concerned, he makes the most authentic reproductions of the Freddy glove. Nightmare gloves, which will go right back on its pedestal over there. But yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street 4, the Dream Master. 35 years, guys. What a man. Amazing. Insane. Now, if one of those boutique companies would just do a 4K release, a proper release of those films, that would be magic. That would be magic. I'm shocked that it hasn't happened yet, but I'm waiting, and it'll be a day one purchase for sure. So that's it, guys. This quick little ditty, nice haul video, talking about my sales, whatnot, and Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master. 35 years of guarding that gate, bitch. So I got another video coming up. The sci-fi and fantasy section of my movie collection video is going to be up soon. And then we'll close out the spooky season with another spooky-centric Halloween crap from the 80s. So thanks again, everyone. If you haven't subscribed, if you just found this channel, there's lots of stuff to like on this channel if you're a lover of the 80s. If you're a 70s baby and you're an 80s kid like me, you'll probably have a lot to find on this channel that you like. If you love horror, if you love comic books and weird, goofy comedy and sci-fi and fantasy and all that stuff, and toys and everything like that, it's also on this channel. So thanks again, and we'll see you on another episode of It Crept from the 80s. Goodbye, bitch!